Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? Hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, Xcn holders, okay? This video is going to be out on Sunday, but the information should be fairly relevant. It should be out within a 14 to 16 hour time from the time I'm recording. So this information shouldn't change too much. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a very important Xcn video. And if you have been even paying attention to the last few Xcn videos, you know that I've been predicting that this is going to be happening, and there's very strong evidence for it. Now, you might be asking, what am I talking about? For me, ladies and gentlemen, I believe the start of next week, right? Practically as soon as we get the new weekly candle, which sometimes I guess it's extremely late Sunday, depending where you're at, or the beginning of Monday, right? There should be some type of sell-off. Now, we're going to be breaking down everything. We're going to be breaking down the technical analysis in just a second. Of course, we're also going to be breaking down some of the fundamentals. Xcn $1 in 2025. No. What are we at? 1 cent? No. And that's not because Xcn this is not an Xcn issue, guys. This is just altcoins. It's not time for them yet. It is not time for altcoins yet. Okay. Listen, Xcn $1 eventually, possibly. We talked about it. That would be 40 billion market cap. We will see. 25 cents likely, 15 cents likely. Anyways, right, we can see we rank 148 out of 9,495 active cryptos. Over the last month, we are up 6.46%. Over the last 7 days, we're up 3.4%. And in the last day, we're down 2.3%. We have 390 million market cap, 13 million volume. We can see when we go to the holders, we have been consistently rising, which is what we love to see, which people see the value of Xcn despite its price. We can see we have a lot of exchange listings. We still are missing a couple. And obviously the big one is Binance. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, right? Analyze. No, thank you. I can analyze myself. But look, when we go and look at the Xcn's chart, we can see this is on a Saturday. So technically a Sunday can flip, but nothing has been suggesting this weekly candle is absolutely terrible, right? It is looking very, very weak. And we knew kind of already based even on Thursday, with the way Thursday was closing. In fact, even before Thursday closed, we were talking about what we needed to happen for us to get momentum to the upside. And that was a close above 0.001239, or we could say 124. Right, we needed that close, and that was still while Xcn was pumping somewhere over here. Right, we said that beforehand, and then boom, the next day, obviously when I was making another video for the other day, I was like, look guys, this is a sign that we are going to be going lower. And we can see Friday has been selling off, Saturday has been selling off, and Sunday's probably going to close off a little bit, but we might see a dump on the Monday and Tuesday. Because if this weekly candle closes some, very, very similar, we can see that it's clear as day. We are consistently producing lower highs. We can see high here, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, right? We are failing to have buying pressure to the upside. So what does that mean? We are going to be going lower until the momentum finally flips. Okay, because we can see it's clear as day, ladies and gentlemen, that we do not have buying pressure in our favor. Now, we even said it as a speculation before that I expected this 3-month candle to be getting swept. And then, we just have more and more confirmation over the last few weeks that it's going to be happening, right? It's going to be happening. So I expect the zone to be getting taken out. For God knows how many Xcn videos now, I've been saying that I have a, position marked up here. And, the reason why I'm saying this to you guys is because, I was wrong about this being the reversal. I did it too prematurely, too carelessly. And, I already said I'm never going to be perfect 100% of the time, but I don't, making those bold kind of claims as if they're a truth is different than pure speculation. And that's where I failed. So I was like, you know what? Free value to you guys. So, I am expecting the 0.009. Could we even technically take out this bottom at 0.0076? Yes. Is it likely? I would say it's decently unlikely. I would say there's like a 30% chance happening. Obviously, that's just speculation at that point. The data right now does suggest, though, which I can't confirm, that we are going to be going lower. Okay, because there's zero evidence, there's zero proof that we will be going higher and higher. Ladies and gentlemen, the time to get serious is now. The next few months are going to be the most crucial time of your lives. Okay, we're going to have crypto exploding, and this is the time to get a portfolio review. Right, you got to make sure you have the right cryptos. You don't want any old or dead coins, or you don't want anything that can give you little profits, right? So we provide a portfolio review. We've also been smashing it with the high probability meme coins. We hit an 11x, an 8x, and 5.5x in recent times. We also provide a weekly report on the crypto data, on the crypto analysis, and of course, ladies and gentlemen, on other altcoins as well. You get all this and a bunch more other benefits. Highly recommend joining the private community. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make some money. Overall, ladies and gentlemen, this is not necessarily a bad thing. This should be pretty much the end of our correction, though, right? We come back down here. We come into these, this zone. This should be the correction of this huge pump we had for 3 days, right? Guys, the truth is, when you see big pumps like this, they usually need to get fully corrected. Right, I know we have a little bit of imbalance down here. I'm not really worrying about it too much. I would genuinely be surprised if, we would go back to this zone. We would have to see consistent weeks of weak selling pressure to continue for me to even consider coming back down here, right? That's the truth. That the only way we come back down to these zones is if, first of all, the markets are just bleeding and all of us were kind of wrong and we're getting full on corrections now. And if I would see data that would suggest that is going to go lower and lower and lower and lower. Okay. Because I'm not going to be going against the charts. It never, ever, ever works out. But this right now, this bottom price, is just speculation. Okay. There's a very high probability that we bounce off somewhere around the 0.09, even like I said, potentially the 0.0075 in terms of the full bottom range, right? This whole box. And that's where we should start seeing reversals. Of course, the moment once we do start getting reversals, I will tell you guys, right? It will require some very strong momentum to the upside, a little bit of correction, and kind of like continuous structure like this, generally speaking, to get this type of confirmation. And like I said, we don't have that right now, which is fine, but that's okay, ladies and gentlemen, because patience is key. Some people believe this coin is a scam. You gotta realize, guys, the truth is this coin was really low. I mean, okay, this coin was going sideways, dude, for what? Let's just say mid-May. Let's just say May. Mid-May up until beginning of January. So like a year and a half or something. This coin was going sideways at a very low price. And yeah, technically it was going up and doing its thing, but generally sideways. And you got to realize, even if you got in right before the pump, okay, even if you got in right before the pump, you could have made 17.5 times. And that's not even talking about like getting in lower. So you have to realize when something pumps 17.5 times, there's going to be a correction, right? Like let's say you got kind of in the middle of this, green square or green rectangle. You would have made 25x if you cashed out at the top. Obviously, you probably made less, right? Most people don't really cash out at the top, but hypothetical 25x, right? So you got to realize when something pumps so much, there's bound to be a correction. It does not mean it's a scam, though. It doesn't mean it's a scam. Goliath just came out the other day, and they're continuing to improve on technology. They're continuing to prove the fundamentals, and they're continuously putting in the work. But yeah, that is ultimately it, ladies and gentlemen. I love you guys so much, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.